Welcome to the show. I'm telling you, Central Texas is on the map, certainly when it comes to Hollywood, because there is a locally produced short film that is on the short list for the Academy Awards. Very big deal, and I am so excited to have the filmmakers here with us today, Sam Henderson and Maverick Moore. And your short film, Adieu, is just one step away from the red carpet, right? Shall we say?
One step. One
Okay,
step.
so what does this mean to you to have this short film? Well, I want to talk in depth about what the film is about,
Mhm.
but what does it mean to you to have that at this point here?
Well, it means a lot now. And what it really means to me personally is what it means for everybody else that's a part of the team, Team Adu.
Yeah.
Uh, I mentioned this yesterday with another group we were talking to, but yes, of course, who doesn't want to be nominated for an Oscar? That would be great. But what this would mean for me is that it represents the wonderful team that I had to make this film. I think my team deserves it. Not necessarily me, but I think all the wonderful people who helped me make this film, execute the film, people like Maverick, that would represent to me so much. I think they're deserving of it. So, yeah, that's where both the anxiety and the excitement lies. I think Team Adu deserves it. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, Maverick, your thoughts?
I've been friends with Sam. I've been good friends with Sam for 10 years. I've known him for 15. And before the shortlists were announced, I sent him a text the night before just saying, look, this has been one of the most meaningful and rewarding chapters and, of course, projects of my life. So even if we're not shortlisted, it still to me feels like we won just because it was such a rewarding and meaningful process. And I feel the same about nominations. Now, would we all love to be nominated? Of course we would. Will it be disappointed if we aren't? Yes, but again, still, it's been such a rewarding, such a meaningful project that in that aspect, it feels like we've already won.
Hmm. I want to also introduce to you Sam Elton, who joins us today. Sam, I met at an event through Rogue Media, and you are an aspiring filmmaker. I know you've done a couple of short films because I saw. And when I said this was being put together, you said, "Oh, please, I want to," because I
Yeah,
was going to interview
save
you
me a seat,
anyway.
Ann Harder.
But
I want
you
to be
said,
here.
"I want to be there." So, what did it mean to you as a filmmaker to see compadres like this? Get to this
Oh.
point.
Oh yeah, it's amazing, and I was just recently, I guess, introduced to your work and Adu through kind of a colleague, and I have been watching your guys' success, and the excitement that you guys are feeling is so tangible through the screen, and it is very inspiring, and I've loved listening to the reason behind the story behind your film, and I think that adds a layer of special, and yeah, it's also inspiring.
Well,
Thank you.
so let's get into that. Let's talk
Yeah.
about the film itself. Ado is a reference to Much Ado About Nothing,
That's
right?
right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
just tell us about your concept for this short film.
Yeah, so the movie is about this middle school theater teacher named Miss Hopkins, played by the wonderful Miss Jennifer Lewis. And Miss Hopkins is rehearsing Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing when that rehearsal is interrupted by a school shooter. And the idea for the short came from speaking to my mother, who's a 40-year middle school theater teacher.
Really?
And I had a conversation with her, well, it's almost 3 years ago now. It wasn't too far removed. Everybody's going to be familiar, unfortunately, with the Uvalde shooting here in Texas.
Sure.
And so she teaches in San Antonio, and obviously I'm here at Baylor, and so that one hit really close to home. And my mom, who was almost 70 at the time, I was talking to her, and I said, "My goodness, what would you do, Mom? I mean, I know you've been teaching forever, and this has been a threat, again, unfortunately, for quite some time, but because of how closely that one hit to home, I was concerned about her, you know, and I was just curious on my own what she thought about it, how she prepares for it. outside of the protocols, schools have to go through now
Sure.
at every level. There are drills now, almost like it's the Cold War, for this kind
Duck
of
and
thing.
cover and
Because
all that.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. And so I was thinking about a specific person in that situation, who happened to be my mom. And I was talking to her about it. I said, Mom, what would you do in a situation like that? I really concerned for you. I not that mobile, and she didn't want to go have a long conversation about it, which I completely understand. But she said one thing. She said, if I ever came face to face with a school shooter, I think the only chance I'd have is if he knew me, or if he remembered me, or if he was in my class, or no. Her name's Brenda, so she's gone by Miss B. She said, I don't think if he remembered who Miss B was to the school, he'd be able to do anything. I think that'd be my only chance in that situation. And so two things happened. I thought about my mom in that situation. And then I thought, I don't think I've ever seen that played out in our discourse about this issue. We spent a lot of time talking about the psychology of the shooter, what causes somebody to do, rightfully so. And obviously we spent a lot of time talking about the kids and the students, but I feel like the people who get lost in the mix are people like my mom, the people who work there. That this is the people caught in the middle are our teachers. And I just kind of in a moment visualized my mom in this. Thankfully, she's never been in this scenario, but I visualized my mom kind of caught in between this situation that she was indicating for me. And I thought, wow, quite a bit has been discussed, and we've seen a lot of shorts and feature films on this issue, on school shootings, on gun violence. But I thought, I don't think I've ever seen my mom's perspective on this. I don't think I've ever seen what she's telling me right now that really literally puts the people who are in a lot of ways the most vulnerable right in the center of this issue. And so, yeah, I have a writing partner who's also a Baylor alum, Ryan Romine, and I pitched the idea to him, and we wrote a script in a few weeks and got really excited about it. And here we are almost 3 years later talking about it being on the Oscar shortlist. But it was all born out of a conversation I had with my mom. And from that moment on, it was something I really wanted to be authentic and intentional about her experience. And it's morphed into something that's even bigger than all the people who made it.
Well, when you're dealing with such sensitive subject matter, how do you decide what belongs on the screen and what needs to be implied?
Yeah, that's a good question. We were very intentional with the script. We tried to be very, very authentic and true to, I heard my mom's voice when I was writing that
Yeah,
script.
I'll bet you did.
My daughter is in the movie,
Uh-huh.
and so there's some lines shared with her that in the character that I tried to stay true to my daughter's voice. Actual Shakespeare, a monologue for Much Ado About Nothing appears in the script, and so whereas that had to take some massaging and editing and that kind of thing. In terms of what the actual text was, well, we just borrowed from the greatest writer ever.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
And the
obviously
parallels are so perfect.
yeah, of course, it's the best written part of the script, the public domain Shakespeare. And then, how that's executed and how that's now experienced by the audience has a lot to say from the editor. The editor and the director sitting down making decisions about what happens when, who are you looking at when somebody sings something or not, or how you transition to the next scene, or that, all that becomes in part a technical process. Once you've written and produced and shot the film, then the magic really happens in post, where all the choices you've made up to that point have to get coalesced and synthesized in a way that makes sense. So yeah, that's where the massaging really happened in terms of the experience of the film in the editing process.
Yeah.
Casting Jennifer Lewis is extraordinary, though. Talk a little bit about how all that happens, putting the right actors together, as well as where you shot it, and just all the logistics that producers have to deal. I'm gonna have Maverick talk a little bit about some of that.
So my role as an associate producer was a bit different than, say, Rachel Jobin, the main producer's role. Rachel Jobin is the one that, along with others and Sam, so on and so forth, arranged the shoot to be transplanted to Los Angeles, and then, of course, to include Jennifer Lewis. So I think Sam can talk more about that process. My role as an associate producer really involved me giving feedback on scripts, feedback on audition tapes, and then really my role there is after the film was edited, I go to film festivals for them. I'll make some of their promotional materials. I'll, thankfully be involved with these interviews. I've helped them with festival advice or with, I guess, in some ways, campaigning advice, so on and so forth. I mean, so me, Sam, and Rachel are all in a group chat where we basically just talk all matters ado and figure out strategies for things that are happening, good and bad.
Yeah.
But I'll let Sam kind of jump in about.
Yeah, so we go teach a class together at Baylor. And
What class?
I almost called it short film production. It used to be called short film production, but it's now called making the short film.
Okay.
Oh.
Right? Yes.
There's
I
a
should know
long
the name of it.
there's a long story there that
I get confused about the name.
Did you check their
'Cause
credentials?
it's
Do they
big.
really teach at Baylor?
There's the real Sam Henderson and Maverick Moore outside. We kidnapped them. Yes. So there's this great quote we like to share. I know Maverick shared it in his classes, and we share it together. It's a Martin Scorsese quote, but I think he stole it from somebody else, which is what happens in film.
I mean, that's art too.
But it's one of my favorite quotes as it relates to filmmaking and specifically directing. But he said 90% of directing is casting.
97?
90%.
Oh.
90%.
Sure.
Yeah.
You had a casting director.
We've had a casting director.
And
so that's
she's
my,
won an award. Speaking of,
She
or a
has won
nomination.
awards before,
Yeah.
and she's up for an Artios
That's amazing. Yeah.
award for specifically for Ado,
Yeah.
which in the past was equivalent to the casting Oscar. But now, this is the first year the Academy Awards has best casting for an Academy
That's
Award.
amazing. Yeah.
Which casting directors for years have been fighting for this award.
As they should.
It absolutely should have been an award 50, 60 years ago. That should have been
It's
an
like
award.
you said, 90%.
Yeah.
It's the visual. It's the main
Yes.
visual.
I don't know why every director in the DGA hasn't been petitioning for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
For 50 years, because my gosh, your job, if you get the casting right, is
So much easier.
everything. It feels like 90%, So yes, after writing the script, after putting together a producing team, the next hire we made was a casting director, and we had this wonderful casting director, Allie Beans, who works out of Dallas, who's based in Dallas. Casting director I worked with before just as an actor, and then I know she's worked on other films. And we got her the script, and she was a big fan of the script, and she gave us a list of names. I mean, she gave us some knockout names. Some knockout
You were like,
names.
you can get this?
Yeah.
Names you would recognize, right?
Names you would absolutely recognize. I mean, talk about, Oscar nominees, Oscar winners, big time names.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going down the list, and we were getting a lot of rejection, not because a whole bunch of people thought our project wasn't going to be any good, but they didn't even know what it was.
I hadn't read it.
A lot of the agents just said,
Yeah.
my person doesn't do shorts.
Yeah.
We're not even going to read it. This wasn't said directly, but when Allie was communicating with us, there was an indication that we weren't going to be able to afford this person you're asking for.
Oh.
So it wouldn't even matter if they
Said
wanted
yeah.
to do your.
Yeah.
You can't afford it, little short film people. so we're just like, okay. And so, my short answer for Jennifer Lewis has usually been, she was the first one to say yes. But what really happened is Allie got that script to her people, and the agent read the script and fell in love with the script. And he was the first one to say, I got to figure out a way to get Jennifer Lewis to do this. I think she'd be perfect for it. This is a knockout. And because of his advocacy and because of Allie's advocacy, Lewis actually read the script, and we're pretty. I mean, there's never going to be any way to know this, but I feel like she was either the first or one of the first people that we asked to actually read the script.
Mm-hmm.
Just read it.
Yeah.
And so we got on a Zoom with her after that, and she was just. It was the script ended up being about everything she was about. She viewed it as as part of her advocacy about this issue.
Just fit her perfectly.
And she viewed it as something that she knew or thought she could do, but hadn't been cast as. Right? Because a lot of the general public know Jennifer Lewis as essentially a comedian, you know?
Right.
You know, she's the voice of Mama O.D. and Princess of the Frog.
Cars.
Blackish,
Yeah.
you know, and she's, you know, one of the funniest people in the world. You know, she's made a full career out of being funny sidekicks and moms and that kind of thing, but never a tragedian or a dramatist, right? We just haven't seen Jennifer Lewis but it hasn't been because she can't do it. And so when she saw this 12-page script with all this Shakespeare in it, and with the scenario that was being pitched, she said, okay, I think I can, I want to be a part of this all the way through. So yeah, that's a long story on it. She was the first one to say yes.
And
And then we can't, you know, she does, I can't wait for everybody to see it and for you guys to see it, but it's been, of the comments, I mean, the film's been all over the world for the past year, and it's the thing that people are drawn to immediately. I mean, she has said publicly, it's the performance of her career.
It's very timely as well.
In a short film.
Yeah.
In a short film. So yeah, we are so grateful for her participation, and yeah, she's really carried us through a lot of this over the past year, for sure.
Well, you got to know that you were on to something, and great things are ahead, but we do have a commercial break ahead. So we're going to take a short break, but we will be back with these wonderful filmmakers right after these words.
It's football season, and we can create your outdoor tailgating spaces that is actually a part of your home. Bifold doors that tie in the inside and the outside, and you can gain anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 square feet living space, all while taking in the big game, poolside. Call us at Gather & Co. Kitchen and Bath, where we can create your unique tailgating space.
Central Texas since 1889, TFNB Your Bank for Life takes pride in being more than a bank. At TFNB, we remain committed to these principles. If you value them too, come join us. TFNB, Your Bank for Life.
Ready for a better kind of primary care?
At Patient First Direct Primary Care, you get unlimited office visits with same-day or next-day availability.
And instead of rushed appointments, we take the time to actually listen.
There are no insurance hassles, just clear, simple care.
You can reach us by phone or text because access shouldn't be complicated. Our practice has expanded to include Medicare-age patients as part of our direct primary care model.
It's a fresh alternative to the traditional insurance or government-driven systems, care that finally puts you first.
For more information, go to patientfirstdirect.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct. I let in the sun rays. More of the heat stays. Universal Windows Direct.
Right now, buy one window, get the next one free. Plus no interest and no payments for 24 months.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
It's time to start something new at Allen Samuels. Drive in with huge savings on all of our Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. From a trail-conquering Jeep Grand Cherokee, towing in style with a Ram Heavy Duty, or cruising the city in a sporty and luxurious Ram 1500, we've got the perfect ride for you. Stop by Allen Samuels in Waco, where we make car buying easy.
Come by, let's be friends.
Don't miss the Home Product Show Saturday, January 31st and Sunday, February 1st at the base at Extraco Event Center in Waco. You'll meet local professionals and see the latest building trends, discover innovative products, and find expert advice all under one roof. Plus, there will be games for the whole family and cash prizes. Don't miss the Home Product Show, January 31st and February 1st. Brought to you by TFNB, your bank for life.
Bigfoot Running Company is riding into Waco for the very first time, and they are bringing the Rodeo Stampede with them. The race, happening Saturday, February 14th, isn't your ordinary race. It is a full-blown Western adventure packed with music, costumes, and some of the coolest race swag you've ever seen. Every finisher scores a big belt buckle medal, which can actually be worn as a belt buckle, a custom Rodeo Stampede t-shirt, and bragging rights as big as the state of Texas. DJ Sasquatch will be spinning the hottest hits, and Bigfoot himself will be out for high fives and photo ops. Spots will fill up fast, so round up your crew and get registered today. Many Mini Pancakes is a Waco-based catering service specializing in fluffy, fresh, homemade mini pancakes topped just the way you like. They are joining forces with Reclaimed Relics on the same day as the Rodeo Stampede, February 14th, so be sure to stop by, get a coffee from Rustic Roast, craft your delicious snack with many Mini Pancakes, and shop through antiques and homemade crafts with Reclaimed Relics. I'm Elizabeth Riley with Act Locally Waco, and I'll see you all next time.
Hello, my name is Sam Henderson. I'm the director, co-writer, and co-producer for the short film Ado, starring the inimitable Miss Jennifer Lewis. Miss Lewis plays Miss Hopkins, who's a middle school theater teacher rehearsing Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing with our students when that rehearsal is interrupted by an active shooter. Thank you, Ella Deary, for selecting our film. We're honored and humbled to screen amongst all the other wonderful selections.
And we are back with filmmakers. This has just been quite an exciting roundtable, but talking about the short film Ado, which is on the short list for the Oscars. And we will know in a matter of days whether or not you're going to make that trip to Hollywood. But we've got Sam Henderson and Maverick Moore here with us. And Sam Elton, who is, you recently moved to Central Texas, and you're a filmmaker, and heard about this thing happen and said, please, I want to be there. And so what questions do you have for these gentlemen?
Oh, well, so my first question is, what was the runtime? You said it was a 12-page script. What was the final runtime?
With credits, it is 15 minutes and 53 seconds.
Wow.
One challenge in post-production, though, while we were editing the film, was actually shortening it. So it was actually long. Talked about during that process is what moments best serve the story and what moments don't. There's this another famous quote that we share with our students from, I believe it's Darren Aronofsky, which is, the movie's not done until you've cut your favorite shot.
Oh.
Which means if a shot,
Kill your darlings,
exactly,
yeah.
a shot, a line, a joke is in there, it's not serving the story, if it's not pushing it forward,
Yeah.
it's got to go.
Yeah.
So about 2 minutes.
About
was
2
cut
minutes
out of
got
the
cut
film.
out, yeah.
Are you allowed to share what that was? What was cut that maybe you were holding on to for a long time?
Well, the biggest cut, what got us the farthest is in the original script. So as you know, the kids are doing What You Do About Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally doing it in the film.
Yeah.
And in the script, they're doing more of the show. Mm-hmm. And so the lead in to the whole scenario and the teacher talking is longer. I do a significant portion of the end of the play of Much Ado About Nothing. And we see the kids doing that in the rehearsal process. And cutting that down at the beginning of the film itself got us, 60 to 90 seconds, but in cuts and in subsequent early cuts, it didn't allow us to get into the film quickly enough. Mm-hmm. And so it was one of the darlings because obviously I love Shakespeare. I chocked the whole script full of it. It's my favorite stuff ever. And I was just in love with the Shakespeare, and I thought it was charming watching the kids kind of do it well, but not that well.
Yeah.
And I thought that was endearing, and I really, really, really wanted the Shakespearean, but it was, it was a decision Maverick came up with and that we came up with together that I don't think I being as enthralled, with the kids doing Shakespeare poorly for 2.5 minutes, as you are, Sam. So maybe we should move it along.
Yeah,
a
let me
little bit
hold your
more
hand
quickly.
while I tell you this.
It does make sense. It makes sense as you get into it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You're wearing the Waco Indie Film
am.
Fest. You mentioned some of the awards and things that Ado is up for and already, but what is the role these film festivals play in marketing and getting your film some attention?
Yeah, I'll speak from an educational perspective, and then I'll pop it over to Sam to talk about what it's done for the film from a marketing perspective. Both Sam and I have worked with Waco Independent Film Festival almost since the beginning. I've been with the festival since the beginning, and in doing so, what we do is we program short films, which means we watch all the films that are submitted, and then we, with a team of other people, decide what gets programmed. And in doing that, it's taught us so much, an immeasurable amount about what works and what doesn't for a film playing a festival. Things related to runtime, for example, or again, the movie's not done until you've cut your favorite shot. That is something we really learned from screening for film festivals, from watching films that don't do that.
Yeah.
Right? So there's so many things that we've learned from that process that helped us craft this film, so much so that with our class that we co-teach, we try to share that experience with students as well. So we have them volunteer as reviewers for films at Waco Independent, and we kind of talk about what we've learned as well. So that's one way, an educational way that film festivals have informed, particularly working with film festivals, has informed this process.
Yeah, so as you know, there are tens, hundreds of thousands of film festivals in the world.
There's lots.
Right? We could start one right now in a basement. Right? It doesn't
Tell me
take
what
that
time,
much.
I'll be there.
Yeah, it doesn't take
She's
that much.
got some shorts to send
It
your
doesn't
way.
take that much to start a film festival.
Yeah.
And so, right? And then you can cut off the top half. You've got about half of that pretty good fest or so. And then you get down to a smaller group of film festivals that I would put in, say, the Waco Indie category. Movie Maker magazine has these designations for film festivals that Waco Indie's now a part of, where you start getting into these are a little better than pretty good, right? But they have a 50 filmmakers list, they have a 25 cool list, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
And Waco Indie's on quite a few.
Waco's Indie on a couple of those. So you get down to even smaller. So the most prestigious list is what you call the Oscar qualifying film festivals, which in the whole world is about 160 something. Right?
Okay.
National, American and international film festivals. And these festivals have received this designation by AMPAS, by the Academy, as if a short film wins the qualifying award at these respective festivals, then they are eligible to be considered for an Academy Award.
Okay.
Right? These 106 years.
I think a lot of people don't understand the process.
Right.
Really at
So
all.
this is what I'm trying to illustrate in terms of what
Sure.
the film has done and what it's meant for the film. And so when the film got done, and something that had been a goal from the very beginning, is I really wanted to get our film Oscar qualified. And there's a couple of ways to do that. You can win one of these festivals, one of these 160 or so festivals in the world, or you can qualify your film yourself. So speaking of starting a film in the basement, if we all took this podcast and turned it into a film, we can go up to Dallas and run it in a theater and qualify the podcast for an Academy
Because
Award.
it's been shown publicly?
Because it's been shown publicly, and you had to pay to see it. So it can't just it's not just being shown publicly, but it's got to run at a qualifying theater, and people have to pay to see it. It has to be a pay to see to qualify your film. So several films that get qualified choose that route. But usually over time, the precedent has been, okay, if you win a qualifier, that's kind of a stamp of approval, almost like a peer-reviewed article.
Sure.
For the Academy. Since the Academy is making that designation, it's its stamp of approval on your film, as opposed to, I just independently ran my film in a theater because I could afford it or wanted to do that. So films have been nominated who have done that or what have you, but usually, typically, a film has won one of these Oscar qualifying film festivals. And so we went into this thinking, we want to target those festivals because we want to get the film Oscar qualified. But if we get down to it, depending on the festivals, the caliber of festivals we played at a certain point, we were prepared to do a qualifying run. We were just going to do, raise the funds to qualify the film ourselves. And the film will premiered at an Oscar qualifier in Sydney, Australia. And then it played an Oscar qualifier in Cleveland. And then it played an Oscar qualifier in Florida that Maverick went to. And then it played Dallas International, which Dallas International Film Festival, this was its first year that it got on the Oscar qualifying list. And so we won Texas Grand Jury Award there. And then the next month, American Black Film Festival, which has been an Oscar qualifier for almost 20 years, they have something called the HBO Short Film Showcase, that 5 films get selected by HBO to be in the showcase, and the winner of that showcase gets Oscar qualified. So you can get qualified through American Black Film Festival. So we went to that in Miami, and we won that showcase. It was the first time we got Oscar qualified. So to make an even longer story longer, we won that Oscar qualifier, and we kind of thought in June, oh my goodness, this is great. This was our goal. We wanted to get Oscar qualified. We're not going to have to pay for a separate screening because we've won one of these awards at the festival. And so all the other festivals that we had applied to that were Oscar qualifiers, we just kind of thought, we get in, we don't get in, that's fine. We've kind of reached our goal, what we want for the short. We're in the pool now. The pool closes in October, so this was in June, and we just thought we'll just do the festival thing until October. And then we won 3 more Oscar qualifying film festivals before the short list came out.
And one thing that I'd like to add to that is these Oscar qualifying festivals can get thousands of submissions, sometimes as high as 6,000. And very few get in, and there's only one that wins. And so
that is amazing.
We're blown away.
Really crazy.
Yeah, it's a very
Blown
big
away
deal.
So
that this
even,
happened.
I'm singling that because even before the short list,
Yeah.
right, we knew we were eligible. We knew we were 4 times eligible for the Oscar. That in and of itself was such a kind of staggering and shocking achievement because even that was beyond what our expectations were going to be for the film, right? Like I told you, we were expecting to do a qualifying run on our own, you know? And then once we won one, we thought, oh, okay, well, that's going to at least save us a little money. We're qualified. We're not going to do it on our own. And then to win 3 more after that has just been really crazy, really crazy. As far as we know, fairly historic, very, very rare.
And Maverick, were you there at those festivals that it won?
Not all of them. I was at American Black Film Festival because we were one of 5 finalists. Usually at Oscar qualifying festivals, they don't narrow down the pool of films to be finalists. Anyone is eligible to win. But since they narrowed it down to 5, I felt good about it.
Yeah,
I felt good about it. And so I told Sam, I'm going. So I joined Sam because I just had a feeling. And so I'm really grateful because when Sam went to go accept the award, I got to be there. And look, he might be underselling it, but it's literally a dream come true for him and me. And so I got to be there for that, and I got to film it and take photos of it and whatnot. So it was a really meaningful moment. I just had a good feeling about it.
So that's expensive to make these trips. Let's talk money. So how is this financed?
Baylor. So the film department got a very generous endowment about 10 years ago now from Matthew B. Lindner, who his family is connected to the university and is an alum. And he set up this fund with two conditions, specifically for making films from the film department. So that is to say, hey, we're not going to loan this English professor who wants to make a film something, right? It has to be faculty, it has to be students who are making films at FDM. And speaking of which, if a film is getting made using these funds, it has to involve students. It has to be connected to students. Either you're making this film because our chair, Chris Hansen, makes feature films, and he makes them over the summer because they take longer to make. And so he'll use, for instance, the summer 1, summer 2 session for students to register for his feature film, and they'll work on the film, and then he'll use Lindner funds for the film. And so it was out of that fund we made a due, every cent for the people we hired, the move to LA. Now, the university has not paid for everything that's happened in post. We are, as faculty members, we have access to travel funds from the university. But I remember I wrote, I work in the film department, in the theater department, and I wrote both my chairs probably 6 to 7 months ago that I had already extinguished all the money from my travel funds. Because, we played at 22 festivals this year, and I went to half of them.
Yeah, that's a lot of travel.
I was on 22 flights last year.
Wow.
And, not all those were paid for by Baylor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
not all those hotel rooms were.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes, as the film kind of got momentum through the summer, there were quite a few festivals that I went to in the fall that were very accommodating. They either supplied a room or a flight. Sometimes they would provide transportation while I was at the festival. But there wasn't any festival except for Miami that in June that paid for everything. So there was always a cost to traveling to the festivals. But I was just of the mind, and the team was of the mind, that it was just in the best interest of the film, once we were qualified, to be at the festivals, which is really interesting to tag on what Maverick was saying. So half of the Oscar qualifying film festivals that we won, we had 0 representatives at. No one was there. Not me, not Rachel, not Maverick, no one. We were at Miami because it was, for me, it was all accommodating. Maverick came on his own dime. His wife was there, I was so happy to have them there. So we were at that one, the first one we went, which is great.
Well, and it's Miami.
And it's
So
Miami.
you're like,
I was
oh,
gonna say,
pull my
you got a
leg.
vacation.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean, I told everybody this year, anybody, especially so the focus is on Black filmmakers, Black voices, which is just, those particular festivals have been incredibly supportive of us. But HBO, if you're in this showcase, they pay for everything. It's a hotel on the beach. It's limo service.
Wow.
There were Netflix parties, and it was
That's
crazy.
incredible.
It was crazy. It was kind of this is how the other half lives. Kind of
Yeah,
situation
a little
for a few
taste
days.
of what
Yeah.
lies ahead.
And then,
maybe.
I had to come back and fix my car.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
back to reality after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so we were at that one. And then the next one that we won was Martha's Vineyard,
Yeah.
African American Film Festival. And the crazy thing about that was, first of all, didn't really think we had a chance to win, which I never think we had a chance to win any of these, to be quite honest. And it was at the same time as another very big, very reputable festival in Los Angeles called Holly Shorts. And the film hadn't premiered, even though we shot the film in LA, the film hadn't played to the general public in Los Angeles yet. So this was August. And so it's really expensive to get out the Martha's Vineyard. I was already kind of extinguishing my school funds to travel up to that point. And I kind of thought, oddly enough, LA is the cheaper trip, and we've got connections out there, and a lot of people who made the film are out there, obviously. And so I kind of thought, this is kind of a second hometown screening. It's where the film was made. A lot of our collaborators could be there. I'm not going to go to Martha's Vineyard. I'll go to Holly Shorts. It'll be a little cheaper trip. And it was I pulled Rachel and Maverick aside the morning we were screening in Holly Shorts, because a friend of mine, a Baylor alum who had a film at Martha's Vineyard, texted me that morning, oh, by the way, Adu won Martha's Vineyard, with a picture he accepted it on my behalf.
Well, good for him.
Wow.
And then he's texting me pictures of Spike Lee that he has.
Oh, God.
Dave Chappelle was
Oh,
there. David Letterman was there.
Obama.
Michelle Obama and her brother were there. I was just like,
Okay.
wasn't even there. And, everybody the most famous people in the world were in Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah.
So
But you won.
So
One
the
of
next
life's
one,
hard lessons.
the
learned.
next one I thought we had a shot at was Bronze Lens in Atlanta, which is an Oscar qualifier. So I said, you know what? I'm going to this one. And so I went to Atlanta. It was an amazing festival. I did not think we were going to win. I promise you, I did not think we were going to win. Jennifer Lewis was up for an award, so I was pretty sure she was going to win. And so my whole thought for Atlanta was, I'll just show up. I'll accept this award on Miss Lewis's behalf, which is what I did. And then we'll all have a nice night, right? Last award of the night, they announced a due, we won. And so that was our third Oscar qualifier. So I was there. We had a representative there. And then you're going to have to fill this in because I still haven't put together how this happened.
So it's kind of midway through the fall, and there were a lot of festivals happening around this time. I remember Santa Fe, San Jose, Tallgrass, Austin Film Festival, which we take students to. The film didn't play there.
We had a showcase in New York.
There's a lot of stuff going on, so we weren't able to go to a festival in San Jose. It's called the San Jose International Short Film Festival. And the festival ended, didn't really hear who won or anything like that. And about a week or so passes, and I just start getting curious because I didn't really hear anything. And I'm a night owl. You know, as an editor, I guess that's kind of a part of the trade. But I was up pretty late. It was about 4 a.m. And I just happened to look at their website, see who won. And I find out we won. And
no clue.
Yeah.
No clue.
Nobody let you know.
So I am furiously not furious in mad or anything, but just like frantically texting Sam and Rachel, we won San Jose. Like what? And the funny thing about it is I was the only one, or felt like the only one that knew for hours. And then they woke up to those messages.
Yeah.
And I
just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Funny.
So needless to say, we had no one there in San Jose to accept the fourth qualifying award. That's how far off the radar it was.
Right.
Because I remember, there were like 3 or 4 festivals that we were all kind of dedicating. I was going to try to divide and conquer. You know, hey, Maverick, can you go to this one? Hey, Rachel, go. So Rachel and I ended up splitting festivals.
Because how many again did you submit to?
Oh, submitted overall? We probably submitted, I think, I got to look at my Film Freeway. I only submitted to maybe 60, 65 festivals.
Only 65, he said.
Well, you know,
So,
the
That's
numbers,
a
you know, the more you submit to.
It is a numbers game.
Yes,
in a
the
way
more you
too.
submit to, the more likely you're able to get in. But like I said at the beginning, we were targeting Oscar qualifiers.
Right.
And I really wanted to narrow the list down, and Maverick and I talked about this when the film was done, to things that I thought we maybe had a shot at.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of people will just spend these things get expensive.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
you have to pay. To
Yeah. And then if you
get
miss
in.
the early deadline and you're moving toward regular or late deadline, the prices can go up from 20 to 50%, you know? And so there are some cases where it's almost $100 to submit late, you know, to a festival. And so we wanted to be really strategic about that. And then I did not want to cast that wide of a net because I just thought there's some festivals that I don't think it's going to be their cup of tea. So we wanted to be strategic about that. And we weren't even thinking about, these are festivals we're going to win or could win. It was, to Maverick's point, because there's so many of them, we just wanted to be in the pool of films that would have a shot at getting in, you know, because it's hard enough to get in. We weren't thinking about winning.
There's so much good art, good films being shown.
And
so many.
You know, another thing we've learned working with film festivals and then both having our own films and playing them at the film festival circuit is there's actually a lot of strategies for submitting to film festivals. So you got to be mindful of not just issues related to the quality of the film, like runtime or pacing or et cetera, but also premiere strategy. So certain festivals at the Oscar qualifying level in particular want to be the first to play your film, if not overall, then at least in the state. And so you have to really strategize what you submit to when in regard to event dates, because if you submit to something smaller and get in before you hear back from a larger festival in that state, you might not get into that larger festival because you've already played a smaller.
Yeah, the bloom's off the rose. Yeah.
And so it's something you have to be really careful about. That's something we also teach students about because it's very important, but a lot of filmmakers starting out just don't know that. I learned that, by doing it wrong.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Well, it's all about storytelling. And so Sam, when did you know this is something you wanted to do, that you were passionate about doing? And you kind of a one-man band, aren't you? A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Kinda.
So I'm from Las Vegas, and my background is in comedy. I performed improv comedy on the Strip, the Las Vegas Strip. You may have heard of that. And so I've always been a storyteller. I did theater in high school, and I love listening to people that are good storytellers, and I always wanted to be a storyteller myself. I made my first short film back in 2017, and I just found some people that were willing to act in it, and I shot it, and I was amazed that I was able to put together basically a movie. I'm like, okay, the sky's the limit now, And then when I moved here, I made a short film in the 7-day Waco 7-day film competition.
Right.
And I won that. And through that also gave me a lot of confidence. And so I just shot my most recent short film in 3 days. And I'm really excited to kind of throw the clay on the editing table, so to speak, and see what movie I really captured, And so, to answer your question, I don't know, I love watching movies. So, I want to get my hands dirty and make one,
Yeah.
Well, who sponsors the 7-day competition?
The Pack.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it was their first year doing it.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay. Did
yeah.
Waco Indie have anything to do with
No.
working with them on that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's
that
really
would
cool.
It's interesting to put you three together, though. As you see what all these gentlemen have done, to get to the point where they are, which is so exciting. But giving you ideas.
Yeah. And I loved when you were talking about how you got the story behind Ado. I truly believe that you shouldn't try to come up with a story to tell. The story, comes from within. And the type of short films I like to make are horrors. And I feel like a horror is kind of a misunderstood genre. People think, oh, it's just all slasher, guts,
Right,
gore,
yeah.
and whatever. But I feel like horror is a cool vehicle to talk about and discuss things that happen, in the world. And even though yours isn't a horror, but the story, the subject matter, so to
Yeah.
speak,
Sure.
of school shootings, it is horrific. But it's
Certainly.
important to showcase that and to get those conversations going.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you help up and coming filmmakers like Sam understand about the business?
Oh, boy. Yeah, I think you're headed in the right track, Sam. I mean, I think personal stories, however they manifest themselves, are important. In this idea that you already have, that it's not about conjuring or what's the trend or what have
Right.
you, right? But what's something that's meaningful to me first, and then something that I could perhaps execute relative to my resources, environment,
Right.
time, whatever. I think is really important for young filmmakers. But I mean, this is going to sound really cliche, and it's going to sound like a cop-out answer, but it's something I wholly believe. I think the educational process for any art is twofold. I think there is a necessity to understand the intellectual, historic, and academic side of any art, especially as it relates to film, right? What's been made, how that was made, who made it, why, the process of filmmaking. I think that's important. But I think it is equally important to go out and fail at doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
You learn so
to
much.
actually do
It's
it.
the light
Yeah.
bulb thing. You found 100 ways not to make a good short
That's
film.
right.
Or like Maverick was saying, he learned the hard way about, the festival strategies.
Yeah. And I had an interviewer ask me not too long ago on a radio show. He was like, you're a professor. Which side do you fall on? Are you a book and laps? We're going to watch Fellini. We're going to watch Bergman kind of professor. Or are you, hey, go out on the weekend and go make something? And I said, that is the balance of my life.
Yeah.
To do both.
Yeah.
Because I think one without the other is not helpful at all. Right? Books and laps. And I said it was actually, I said it sounds self-serving, but I actually think that's the argument for the university or college setting to learn how to do it, because yes, you can go to YouTube University and learn how to make a film, but what YouTube University isn't going to get you is hopefully somebody who's actually been through that experience.
And the
Sitting
discussions
beside you, yes, to say, yes, you failed, but let's talk about why, and let's talk about how to make it better in real time, right? You can't get that from a computer. You can learn a lighting setup and what lenses do from a computer, but you can't, it's very difficult to execute the art of it without a person who's been through that experience. So that's, I mean, I really think that setting is important, but it's just as important to go out and do a 7-day film, do a 24-hour film festival, submit to film festivals, figure out why you didn't get in, make something a little bit longer, make something a little bit shorter, and trial and error your way through figuring out the kind of artist you want to be. That is,
and what you want to say. Like
yes, yeah. I mean, I don't think there's going to be any filmmaker that you respect who either didn't start by just making goofy stuff, with a. Depending on how old the filmmaker was, you always hear about, I took out my 8mm or my 60mm camera on a weekend and made Spielberg or whatever.
Or my Razor flip phone.
Right, yeah. Yeah, the value of just going out and making and failing is so valuable.
Yeah. And, Sam mentioned this as well, but one thing I want to emphasize is just the importance of watching films.
Oh, yeah.
Classic, contemporary, foreign, silent, features, shorts. It's incredibly important. Sometimes people ask me, like, what are good resources for that? There's the AFI Top 100 or the BFI Sight and Sound list. There's a great list that Martin Scorsese released. Every foreign films every film student should see. There is the Criterion Channel.
Or even like Mubi. I've heard a lot
there's
about
a lot
that.
of stuff on there. So
Canopy, if you have a library card or a student.
Yeah, there's A24 stuff is on there. There's just so much good cinema that you can learn so much from. And I think that's one thing that helps Sam and I collaborate so well, is because we both watch a lot of films, learn a lot from them,
and a lot of diverse films.
Yes, from all over the world. And I feel like we speak the same language because of that. Because when we were editing the film, which took, months, we didn't really talk too much about the buttons or the technical things. It was really about story. It was about character, about what is artfully working or not. And all of that is informed by the films that we watch.
Because you were an audience member first.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that's how you're...
And in a 15-minute short film, every second
Every
counts.
second counts.
Every frame.
Counts.
Every frame counts. So what's ahead? What are you working on next?
They're resting. Did you not hear how long he's been on an airplane this last year?
Boy.
You have something noodling around in the back of
I
your
do.
head. Yeah.
I do. We've had a couple of people approach us over the past 2 years who are very interested in possibly helping us make a feature version of a do.
Wow.
And so my writing partner and I have been batting around ideas, and the script just hasn't come together.
Yeah. And you don't want to force something.
And that's the thing.
Yeah, how often does this happen? A short film becomes a feature?
It happens quite often,
Really?
but it's
Okay.
very rarely successful.
Well, okay. Well,
I mean, am I right? I mean, it's just
Yeah.
the analogy I've been using for people that might be, easier to understand for a general audience is we've seen this before with, for instance, say an SNL sketch that's really successful in 2 to 3 minutes,
right.
but then the feature film version of that,
yeah.
It's hard to do one joke for 200 minutes.
But,
to be successful. So the same thing has to be true for a short film, right? It's got to justify, the several 100% more length of the story past 15 minutes, and not just doing it because there's the opportunity to do it. You got to do it because it's worthy of it.
Yeah.
And we haven't really figured that part out. But I have another idea that I'm developing and I'm working on that I'm really excited about that I can't talk about.
Okay.
But, I figured out through this process, and in Sam, I figured out what I wanted to be when I grow up, and that is a writer-director. And so, You know, every day, just part of my brain has been dedicated to worrying about the do in this process until it's over.
Yeah.
But the other part of my brain every day is just talking about how I can do it again. I'm trying to figure out how I can do it again. And I know the quickest route to me being able to do it again is writing a script.
Sure.
You know, that I can present to people who have been enamored by a do or have really enjoyed a do or want to partner with us or collaborate us in the future. It's very difficult to do. It happens on a pitch, but it moves into reality if you actually have a script that you could talk to somebody about. And so that's what I'm really thinking about, dedicating a lot of time to during this process, during this moment, as we wait.
It's all exciting. Well, we have a clip to show. We've got to wrap this up, but I have thoroughly enjoyed our visit today and excited about what lies ahead for your short film, Adieu.
Yeah, we are
just
too.
excited. So you want to set up what we're going to see? And we'll...
Yes, we can show the trailer of the film.
Okay, good.
This is our for your consideration trailer for Adieu.
All right. Thank you all so much for being with us today. Stay with us. There is more of the show ahead.
I got an ex on bed and an ex-best girlfriend. I took his ring off my finger, gave him back his last name. So don't judge me, I'm doing the best I can. Got a damn good reason for this drink in my hand. Got an ex on bed and an ex-best girlfriend. No, I didn't see it coming, she was sly as could be. I was crying on her shoulder, he was cheating on me. She never let on that it was her stealing his love. But I wised up, I got an ex on bed and an ex-best girlfriend. Good riddance to them both, I really don't need them. I was working 2 jobs, they were fooling around. It crossed my mind to put them 6 feet in the ground. Got an ex on bed and an ex-best girlfriend. Trust there is something that I live without. It's gonna take a while to remove my doubt that everyone around you at some point won't let you down. That's how I feel now. Got an ex on bed and an ex-best girlfriend. I got an ex on bed and an ex-best girlfriend. Now I heard it through the grapevine, he's tired of her. I guess they're finally getting what they deserve. The last time I saw him, he had the nerve to hit on me. How sleazy can you be? Got an ex on bed and an ex-best girlfriend. I took his ring off my finger, gave him back his last name. So don't judge me, I'm doing the best I can. Got a damn good reason for this drink in my hand. Got an ex on bed and an ex-best girlfriend. I got an ex on bed and an ex-best girlfriend. Ah, cha-cha-cha.
Come along with me as we actually shoot a short film today. Just wrapped the first section. Yes, I am wearing a wig. Have fun. Anyway, we're going to our second location to shoot. So have fun.
Powder, hold the beauty. Beautiful, beautiful. We gotta get that going.